So
It is 7 o'clock and it's time for the City Council, and I would like to call the Personnel, Veterans and Human Services Committee together at, as I said, at 7 o'clock. And just checking to see if everybody's here. Does anybody know if Peter is here tonight? Do not see him. So before we go into items of business, before we do any motions, we have two visitors this evening, which I would like to introduce to the entire council as well as our committee. And I would like to introduce Dr. Stephen Benson, who is interested in joining the Council on Aging Board of Directors. And is Dr. Benson available, Jim?
He's not online yet.
He is not.
Melissa Tucker is, though.
Well, then Melissa will come first. So Melissa Tucker, who is the Assistant Director of the Council on Aging, is with us this evening. And
how are you? Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Are we going to hear you and see you, or?
Yep, here we go.
Here we go. There you are. Good to
Hey.
see you. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And in about, well, let's see, in about 8 days, there's a possibility that you may be the new director of the Council on Aging. And I would like to introduce you to the council. Hopefully you can see everybody's names up there. And
Yes.
to our committee this evening. Would you please, Melissa, everybody here may have run into you at one point or another because you've been around the city of 20 some years, and you're from here, so they might have known you even before you were with the council. But
Right.
can you share with us your background, where you live, and the various positions that you have held, not only with the council, but you've held some with the police too, I believe. So,
So I've been with the Council on Aging for 25 years. Started off part-time. I had the pleasure of working under two different directors. I started when Sally Knox was the director. And over the years, my position became full-time. And most recently, I was promoted to assistant director approximately a year ago, and learned the budget end of the job, which after 25 years in working in the trenches and outreach, so to speak, it was kind of a welcome opportunity. I actually really enjoy the numbers piece of it. The numbers are kind of black and white. And you can fix numbers easily, unlike people. So that's been my experience at the senior center. It's been a long road. I've learned a lot. I still enjoy it. And I'm very fortunate and feel very honored to be chosen as a potential new director.
well, I'm glad you feel that way. We have quite a few different people working down at the council. Just for a second, could you kind of lay out the various types of jobs that people hold down there?
So we have two full-time outreach workers. They're both fairly new in the position. And we have a full-time clerk and a part-time program coordinator. And then we have the Shine grant, which has a Shine director and a couple of clerical positions.
And in in non-pandemic times, we have people in the kitchen too.
Yes, Diane is in the kitchen part-time as well.
Yeah, they're important. So what is it about becoming the director that excites you, and what is your vision for the Council on Aging?
Well, I think we need to start looking for a new home. That's one of the main things, you know, programs. We offer a lot of programs pre-pandemic, but the attendance has been very low. It's been staggering for a few years now, and we need to look at that. You know, hopefully if you build it, they will come. I don't know. We're going to be facing a lot of challenges with that building next door being torn down. Parking is going to be again at a premium. It already is. I think, you know, I want to kind of get back to basics as well. You know, maybe just more breakfast programs, things like that, that we used to offer that were well attended.
Well, I know when people are approaching that magic time when they can have Medicare and their whole insurance in their life seems to change, that the council is oftentimes where they turn.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just finished a study with UMass, which the council funded this past year. Well, we finished it last fall or late summer, sometime like that. And it was about an 8 or 9 month period. And what did we learn from that? What did you learn from that?
Well, the seniors do want to see more activities. They do want to see, you know, parking is an issue. And the population obviously is increasing, and we need to be more creative in how we service those people. The Shine program is busting at the seams. It always has. You know, and I'm afraid we're going to have some turnover there in that program as well. And also the RFP is going to be coming out for that. So that's a huge grant that's going to need to be written if we intend to keep it.
So I'd like to open up this to everybody on the council. Is there anybody who would like to speak with Melissa? Oh, thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you, Council Waterman. Melissa, I just wanted to say congratulations. Obviously, you have big shoes to fill with Madeline leaving. I think Madeline did a fantastic job, but our senior population is our largest, well, our growing population. So certainly there's a lot of work that can and needs to be done. So I wish you well, and please know that I'm here to support you and your constituents in any way that I can.
Thank you. And I know you're a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate your support. Thanks.
Good luck, Melissa. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Kate, Councilor Jackson. You're muted, I believe.
Darn. Hi, it's nice to see you.
Hi, Kate.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You know, it's so nice to see in the city of Attleboro when you have a young person who starts out in a position that's, you know, at the lower platform and has actually enjoyed working in whatever capacity you're working at, and you're just working your way up and up and up the ladder. And here you've done it. And so congratulations, and I wish you well. And thank you for all the time that you have served the city of Attleboro.
Thank you.
You.
Thanks, Kate.
Anybody else? I don't see any other hands. Melissa, thank you so much for coming forward. I'll be bringing your name out with our committee. Todd, you're waving over there? Okay.
Sorry, just waving by. Hey, welcome. It's great to see you and support you 100%. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so Melissa, we'll be meeting with the committee, and I'll be bringing a motion forward in a little while. And so thank you for coming.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. And also, before we have any motions, I would like to introduce Dr. Stephen Benson to the council. Is Stephen on Zoom yet?
He is. He'll be activated in a few seconds.
Thank you. Oh, I see you. Steve? I'm waving at you. You haven't met me in person. You're muted, Steve. We can't hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Great. Sorry about that. I Zoom many times during the day, but this is the first time I've come on to this sort of a format. Sorry about that.
Well, welcome to the City Council.
Thank you.
And I'm Ty, and we talked on the phone and had a great conversation. And you are a lifelong member of the city. And,
Yes.
And you have been at Sturdy for a few years now.
Just a couple. It's amazing how you go from a 28-year-old little kid to the youngest on the staff to one of the old men.
Well, you'd be very young as a senior, I can assure you.
Yeah. I fall into the young senior group, I think, here in the early 60s.
Yes, you do. So thank you for your interest in serving on the Board of Directors of the Council on Aging. And can you share a little bit more, though, about your background? And I was particularly interested in how you intersect in the city and in your own work with the seniors.
Yeah, well, I started my practice in 1987 as an internist. I did become board certified in geriatrics along the way. So my practice in the last 20 years has been a combination of internal medicine and geriatrics. My love really is in geriatrics and in the older folks that I take care of. I've been very involved in my office as well as in the hospital at all of the nursing homes where I've been medical director at a couple of them, Life Care here in Attleboro and Wingate in Norton. I've also been very involved in the visiting nurses on their board of directors through the last decade or so. I have sort of tangentially been involved with the Council of Aging. I've sent many of my patients over there, many of them to Melissa. She's just done such a wonderful job with helping them navigate many of the issues that they face, especially around insurance. And those are the young seniors hitting 65. My office routinely sends them there and tries to get them plugged in, and she's done a wonderful job. I also have several patients that actually I think are working or volunteering there and have been very involved. So I was calling to congratulate Melissa because I think she's a wonderful choice to become the director. And I said to her, if I can be involved and help you in any way, I'll be glad to. And here I am, because she came back to me and said, well, one way you can help me potentially is being on the board. And I really look forward to being more involved in the council and in community activities in general. Most of my time has been with the hospital and in the nursing homes, but this is my home. My wife and I plan to be here for well into our senior years, I hope, God willing. And it's time for both of us to become more active in the city. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge of getting to be more involved.
We're looking forward to having you participate in the challenge. Would anybody like to be able to say hi to Steve? Thank you, Mark.
So, Dr. Benson, thank you for serving. It's Mark Cooper. I welcome you to anything that you want to do to help make the city better. Now you can work on your wife and find time that she probably doesn't have either. Like I'm sure that you don't, because I know that sometimes I don't. So, but again, thank you for your service, your ongoing service to the city, and it's going to be great to have you on the board.
Thank you very, very much. I mean, this is our home, and it always has been. And I know she's looking forward to being involved in something too. So she probably can hear me in the background. I might be in trouble. But
Me too. Okay, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Kathleen?
Yes, thank you, Ty. Dr. Benson, very briefly, my name's Kathleen DeSimone. I welcome and congratulate you and thank you for joining the board of the Council of Aging. I think they'll be very lucky to have someone of your expertise, and I look forward to the great work you're going to do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Well, if all goes well this evening and next week, because what the way we work it is we meet with committees tonight, next week with the entire council. And it could possibly be that your first council meeting is a week from tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Thankfully, I'm not on call.
Laura, please. Councilor Dolan.
Thank you, Ty. Dr. Benson, do you not have your practice anymore?
Oh, yes. No, I do.
You do?
Another 3 or 4 years. God willing, we're sort of shooting for 65 to retire. So a few more years to go.
You were the doctor for my dad and my brother, and I feel like I've heard your name since I was a teenager. And and no, everybody loves you. I hear nothing but great things about you, and I'm very happy you're doing this, and I think the city's very lucky to have you. So thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
One of the things before we close with you, you had shared a little bit about a vision personal vision that you could see for the Council on Aging. Is there any of that you could share with us?
Sure. Yeah. And I think 2 things. One, I'd like to get the message out there of just all of the great programs that they do, because I think in some ways the seniors don't know, all of the great things that are going on over there. So I'd like to be an ambassador that way. And then sort of to mirror what Melissa said earlier, clearly space is an issue. As I hear from my patients who go there, it's difficult. And I've never been to the building myself, certainly been by there quite a few times, but they seem to say it's very antiquated and small, and of course parking is an issue. And so I certainly would be an advocate to try to expand, and if a nice, beautiful place could be built for seniors, I think that would be a wonderful addition for the city. Our seniors are very, very important. It's maybe the biggest growing part of the city. It's going to continue to grow. And I am somebody who, I always tell the seniors, my seniors, the 3 key things for them are nutrition, socialization, and exercise. And a place where they can go and maybe have a meal, exercise, and socialize, it would be really, really important for them, I think. And if we could ultimately, I guess the dream would be to build a beautiful place, some place in the city, and have them have a place where they can call home.
Well, that's certainly a vision worth carrying on. Is there anybody else who would like to share before we leave? So, okay, Councilor Jackson.
To Council Waterman. Hi, Dr. Benson. Kate Jackson.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, it's nice to see you.
Thank you.
And thank you for volunteering. Great. Hooray. I can't now. We're close to getting into our senior years, right? I mean,
Correct.
It's coming up there, and it's nice to have young seniors helping the older seniors so that we can kind of make that pathway. So I appreciate you coming on board. And like I said, I really can't wait to see Jeannie.
Thank you.
Councilor Conti. You might be muted, Richard.
Dr. Benson, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
This is Richard Conti. Fine. We go way back.
Yes.
I'm delighted that you made this decision to join this board, because the function of a board is to advise, consult, and direct and guide. And I think you can bring a lot to that board. I'm thrilled. And I'm your elder, by the way. So listen to me. You're going to do a fine job. And I look forward to seeing some impact as a result of you being on that board. you are in a unique position to be an interface between that Council on Aging and the outside, part of the outside world that they haven't been able to touch before. And I think that, I've spent a lot of time in that building, a lot of time in that kitchen. And I've known a lot of people that have come and gone. That's one of the fascinating things about the senior center is that the population evolves and changes constantly. It's a fact of life. And Melissa's lucky to have you, and I just want to thank you for volunteering. And that completes my comments, Councilor Waterman.
Thank you for your kind words.
Well, we're glad to have you with us, and you're welcome to continue watching, or we'll let you know how it goes.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
good, Steve. With that, I would like to call I already called this to order. So I am going to introduce the first item of business from the docket of February 16th, 2021. I would entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Stephen Benson, 1 Westwood Park Circle, to fill an expired term on the Council on Aging, term to expire February 2025.
Second.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? We just had some with him. I don't think there is. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I don't hear any. Vote passes 3-0. And also, from the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Melissa Tucker, 68 Holden Street, Attleboro, Mass, to fill an unexpired term of the Director of Council on Aging, term to expire February of 2024.
Second.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Vote passes unanimously, 3-0. And we'll move on. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, the mayor respectfully submits for confirmation by our honorable body the following reappointments for positions and terms. Mahesh Patel, Board of Library Trustees. These are reappointments, 3 years, February 2024. This will be in a group. Bruce Hagerman, Conservation Commission, 3 years, February 2024. Rose McConey, Conservation Commission, 3 years, February 2024. Raymond Goulet, the Council on Aging, it's a 4-year term, February 2025. And finally, Jacqueline Romaniki, often known as Jackie, Municipal Building Commission, 3 years, February 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And the vote passes unanimously. And moving on. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to transfer $200 from account 11241000-578300, Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer, to account 161-01000-514030, Public Library Longevity, to fulfill a memorandum of agreement with the Library Employees Association dated through June of 2023. And this is strictly contractual. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Vote passes unanimously. And did I believe, oh yes, we have one other item. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to accept $300 in Stop and Shop gift cards from the Disabled American Veterans Chapter 91 to the Veterans Services Office.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? I always love to hear about these gifts. I think it's fabulous how people help in this city. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote passes unanimously. I would move to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And that concludes the business of the Personnel and Veterans Human Services Committee. I'll call for the next committee meeting at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
Public Safety and Emergency Management is canceled tonight.
I'll call Transportation and Traffic together at 7:25 just for a brief update, if I may.
Excuse
I'm
me.
sorry.
I have a guest.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Holmes.
So I was gonna go next. Is that okay?
Yes, I apologize.
Thank you. Sorry. I don't know if I shared that with everybody, but I do have a guest this evening, so thank you for letting me go. I'll call the Ordinance, Election, and Legislative Matter Committee to order at 7:26. Myself, Councilor DeSimone, and Vice President Jackson. I did invite the police chief here this evening to speak about speed humps and speed bumps. Is he with us right now?
I can see him.
Mm.
Kyle, can you hear us? Aha, voila.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us. So the mayor did speak in favor of this ordinance change, but the committee was just hoping to get a little bit more information from you. So I really appreciate you being able to attend this evening. Is there anything that you can tell us? I guess why do you think that this would be helpful in the city, and what your thoughts are on it?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and good evening, everybody. I'm an advocate for the speed humps. I think they bring three goals, which is all important across the board of what we're looking for in the city. Is one, reduce vehicle speed, improve safety, and three is improve the quality of life for our residents. I'm sure this council understands on how many motor vehicle speeding complaints we get across the city, either to the mayor's office or to Virginia individually, you people, this honorable body. It's probably one of the biggest quality of life issues that we deal with holistically and on a daily basis, and it's growing. The city's growing. The engineering of the roads is impossible to change because the physics of the city is just, it is what it is, and it's getting worse. So what do? People want us to address this. They want quality of life back. They don't want their neighborhoods used as cut-through streets, speeding motor vehicles, and impact safety for their children, their well-being. So we're constantly getting requests to conduct traffic enforcement. We're limited with the number of officers we have. We do conduct radar enforcement quite often. However, when that cruiser that leaves the scene, leaves that location, leaves that hotspot, speeds go right back up. I'll analogize it as when we were growing up, we were probably on our best behavior when our parents were around watching us. As soon as we left the sight of our parents, we weren't under direct supervision, so we could misbehave perhaps. It's the same thing with a cruiser on scene. So this is a self-enforcing mechanism by the law of physics. So it's there 24 hours a day. It's effective. We proved it already in the city to be effective. We deployed them on Claflin Street, and we put them on May Street. I sent this honorable body the raw data of the speeds prior, then the placement of the speed humps being put down, then the speed hump placement thereafter, and it was remarkable. So they do work, and I know they work because there's sometimes drivers complain that they're there because they're effective. It actually slows. So I wish we could get compliance from drivers and not speed. But obviously that's not going to happen. If everyone paid attention to a street sign, we wouldn't have a motor vehicle crash. So I'm a big advocate of it. I think there's only two that will slow cars down: speed humps and potholes. And Mike Tyler keeps fixing the potholes. So.
Thank you. Does anyone in my committee have any questions?
No.
President Cooper?
Not on the committee, so you want your committee to go first, go ahead.
Sorry, was Kathleen?
Oh, I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you, Chief. I also support this wholeheartedly, just based upon my minimal time on the Traffic Study Commission. Indeed, speed is the issue, and I can't wait to get these things rolling out myself. So thanks for coming, Chief.
Thank you.
President Cooper?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming, Chief. I appreciate it. I'm going to share a little story with you. So I wasn't necessarily, I mean, I was sort of on the fence about this the last time it came through the council, and I said, let's try it in front of the schools. And I went to Maine on a weekend and was going to pick up a snowmobile. And I was going too fast, and the Waze told me to zig, and I should have zagged, and I missed the turn I needed to make. And I went down the street directly after the street signal. And lo and behold, what did I go over? A speed hump. And so I got to the guy's house was over one street. So I said to the guy, hey, what do you think of those humps in that road? I said, what's that all about? This is Maine. Come on. He said, it saved my life. It saved my marriage. It saved me from having to move. He's like, they would go so fast down this street, down that street, because they missed the light. And so they go, the navigation would send them in a square route right back out to the light to reroute them.
Yeah.
So anybody that missed that light, or anybody that didn't want to wait at that light, made that turn. So, and it wasn't a small town, but it was in a big intersection in that town. And from that moment on, I picked up the snowmobile, we threw it in my truck, I drove away. On my way back for the hour-and-a-half ride, I called the mayor and said, well, some guy in Maine might have sold me on the speed hump. So I've seen them in action. We've had them temporarily in the city, but never anything permanent. Looking forward to some permanency and see what an impact it can make. But I heard from an individual who I had no idea who he was. I mean, I was buying something from him, and he told me the impact it had for him and his family in that neighborhood that was affected by a new traffic signal. There was no traffic signal there for many, many years that they lived there.
That's a great story.
Yeah. So that pushed me over to the other side of the fence.
Just like to remind the council, I believe the way this ordinance is written, that the authority with the speed hump still rests with this honorable body. So it's not delegated to any other particular body. So it would be assessed by this honorable body. So they don't pop up everywhere in the city, but only where they're necessary and needed.
Thank you. So also, I think everybody in the council did receive an email I forwarded from Mr. Tyler.
Mhm.
And then I was wondering if you could speak, it seems like he is in favor now from your understanding, Chief, is that correct?
Yes, with numerous discussions with Tyler. It's a de minimis impact upon the upon DPW with the snowstorms and what have you, compared to well this year is different. We're averaging what, 3-4 snowstorms a year now. Mm-hmm. And it's a small impact compared to what the residents suffer the rest of the year. So he's come to understand. I appreciate his support, and I love his email. I do recognize that it will be obviously some work modification behavior from them if this honorable boss ordinance, when they get deployed and put in. Also, I saw an interesting read on New England I think it's information traffic engineering. They made note that it's about 3 to 5 seconds impact on a fire engine going over these in order to slow down and cross it and get back up to speed. But we're also, I wanted to bring up, we're also, police and fire are mandated by Chapter 89, Section 7B, 89 7B, and that's the operations of emergency motor vehicles. That just because we activate our lights and sirens doesn't mean that we don't have to obey the laws of the road. We still have to come to complete stops at stop signs, red lights, yields. We have to use what they call due regard. So we just don't have a license just to drive fast and disobey speed laws, with the exception of speed with the appropriate authority. But nevertheless, so we are mandated to use due regard. So the fire apparatus, rescues, and police vehicles are fall under that Section 7B. So we just don't have a free for all.
Great. Vice President Jackson?
Thank you, Council Holmes. Hello, Chief. Good evening.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So Chief, just remind me, so we pick a street, we're going to pick Slater Street, we're going to put a pump down. How do you determine exactly where it's going to go? Because you're going to have people that aren't going to want it in front of their homes. I wouldn't want, I know I'll tell you right now, I'd get a petition if I ever had one in front of my house, just because I know they are so loud. So how do you determine where it's going to go and where the best place is for it to be?
So I would provide you with recommendations upon an evaluation by my department staff, and then this honorable body would get input, obviously, from public hearings from the citizens, and you, the honorable body, the city council would determine. So not the police chief, not the mayor, not the DPW director, would be the honorable body. So it would be vetted through this council. So if there was a neighborhood that says, I don't want that, then they don't get it. But if there's a consensus of residents on a particular street, quality of life is impacted such to a negative fashion that we want these speed humps, then a public hearing would be scheduled, and they come and speak in front of you. Hopefully we'll be in chambers then, right? And it'll be vetted that way.
Thank you.
Councilor Conti?
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Chief, I've been in other communities when there's a plethora of a mixture of these. Specifically, I'm recalling a large retirement community up in Dedham where there are speed tables, speed humps, and speed bumps all in the community. And in my mind, it seems to be the most economical way for some traffic control because it doesn't involve labor continuously. So if a plethora of these exists in a very large retirement community, which has a lot of ambulances and a lot of rescue vehicles together with a lot of traffic, I would support this in Attleboro. Even though Councilor Jackson doesn't want one in front of her house, I think my wife wants 3 of them in front of ours. So it's I think going to be a welcome thing in the community, and I support it wholeheartedly because I see other communities doing it and not having any issues. And I'm sure at your Policemen's Association's meetings, if the subject comes up, you're probably hearing good things. Have you heard anything bad?
No. It's a best practice. It's a calming, a speed calming device now that's nationally, especially up in New England now, and in the Midwest with inclement weather. So we've adapted, we've overcome, we figured out how to get around the weather aspects of it. They do work. Usually the people are the people that don't live on the streets and are accustomed to using those streets as a side cut. Like Claflin's like probably the classic side cut through street in the city right now, just to get around that horrible intersection, and needs to be re-engineered. Should they have their quality of life reduced because a driver from Norton, Taunton, Easton is using that area to go through North Attleboro to get to work each morning or afternoon commute. So that's what we got to look at is the greater good. You know, are we servicing the greater good of our residents?
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. Councilor Waterman, did you have? Yep.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Chief. How are you?
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. I drove through Claflin when I was commuting into Boston 6 or 7 years ago. I believe we had them up back then. Maybe I'm going too far back, but I know it cut me down to about 15 miles an hour. And so the questions that I would have is, how did the residents at Claflin and May Street, what kind of feedback did we experience from the residents?
Positive. There was one woman that they were put in front of her house and she didn't like them. And I did explain to her that temporary they're going to be coming up, but she didn't care for them, probably aesthetics and what have you. So we did send a notice out to the residents prior. I didn't receive any complaints at that time. We deployed them. I tried to put them in a spot. The first deployment that we did. So I didn't know what I didn't know then. I learned a lot from it, and I adjusted it to the process when we deployed them on May Street. With anything, I guess it's kind of like marriage. You learn as you go.
Thank you. So actually, that does bring up a question. Do you think that you would potentially do the temporary ones first and then move forward to have a permanent one? Is that kind of what you're?
The way the ordinance was written, and I believe the mayor crafted it, which I would recommend that it get modified a little bit because it talks about us deploying the speed humps. We were able to deploy those two using manpower of the police recruits in the academy. At that time, we had clumps of 5s and 6s that were going to the academy. So I used them on a weekend to come in, and we were able to deploy those. We really don't have the capacity to deploy them annually like that as written. However, I would seek assistance from DPW or another department in the city, perhaps, to deploy them. So it's the council's wish. If the council wants them deployed in a certain area to test them out, I would certainly support that. We're all in this together.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, Councilor Diesel. Yep.
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. This isn't as much for the chief, just to ask. I had submitted a proposed amendment to the ordinance sent down by the mayor, which I think may address some of the concerns that were raised, particularly those of Councilor Jackson, and ways in which people can have a say and that these humps may come to be. So I don't know where that is in the process, Councilor Holmes, if the solicitor has looked at it, if it's something we can talk about at some point.
I did send that out. I think that you had emailed it to me, I want to say in early November, and then I was waiting for a follow-up in early December. So I can follow up with her to make sure that the amendments are, that her comments are given to everybody in the council, but she hasn't provided them yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay.
Hope everybody stays safe.
So I wanted to kind of follow up with my committee and just let you know that I'm hoping to actually get those comments from the city solicitor and bring this out of committee in the next few weeks. And what I'm actually also going to be doing, we have a public hearing coming up next week for an ordinance change as well. I'd like to create almost like a timeline so everybody is aware of when things are going to be coming out. I know that there's the environmental ordinances. We just received information from the city solicitor regarding some amendments with that information. So I'm hoping to create like a timeline so everybody is aware of when things are going to be coming out. Would that be helpful for my committee to have that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions regarding the committee right now? No, okay. So I will call for an adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:45. And Council DeSimone, sorry for cutting you off. I forgot to mention that I had a guest this evening. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, my apologies. May I call Transportation and Traffic Committee to order at 7:45 for a very brief update. Councilors Conti and Reynolds are here. Just a couple of items for your edification. One, the Traffic Study Commission recently took some action on an issue that had been pending for some time. Indeed, it had been submitted by former Vice President Pareca concerning installing a solar flashing sign where Augsburg and Slater meet. And I believe you all heard some of the residents. I don't know if it was the council or the okay. So you recall that, and Councilor Holmes had reminded me of that issue. It had fallen off my radar, so I apologize for that. But the TSC did recommend that action. I have reached out to the mayor, and it was favorably received. So I think we might be seeing something soon about that by way of funding to support it. So Councilor Holmes, thank you for the gentle nudge, and my apologies for letting it linger for so long. Secondly, we are losing a member of the TSC. Paulo is not going to, his appointment expires in February and he's not going to return. So we will maintain a quorum. We'll have 4 voluntary members from the community, plus Mike Tyler and Sergeant Blackwell and myself, but that will leave us still 2 members short. So just an update there. And the group meets again on February 18th, which is a Thursday at 6, if anybody would care to join us or wants any information. So that's all I have. Does anybody have any concerns about what's on our agenda there? Mr. Conti?
Councilor DeSimone, I think the shortage in the Traffic Study Commission is a serious issue. So I'd like you to consider some avenues of which those vacancies can be fulfilled quickly with highly qualified people. And I don't have any advice for you other than to bug the mayor, who has the ability to pull them out. And if I think of something else, I'll try to assist you.
Thank you, Councilor Conti. I appreciate your concerns, and I have them too. And I think the mayor hears a lot of this, so hopefully he agrees that it's important to get this body up to its full capacity. So, but I will take your advice and give the mayor a gentle nudge as well. President Cooper?
I'll update them. I'll discuss it with the mayor too at my next meeting with him, which I think is tomorrow.
Thank you, President Cooper. Anybody else? All right, thank you all. I'll call this, move that this meeting.
Somebody's already texted him.
I'll move that this meeting be closed at 7:48.
So I'd like to call the capital improvements and city development to order at 7:38. Sitting on this committee is Vice Chair Dolan and Member Waterman. I have several items to bring before you this evening. From the docket of February 16th, 2001, I entertain a motion to appropriate $64,205.74 from account 1000-359,000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 12201000587 fire department purchase vehicles for the purchase of a 2001 hybrid Ford utility command vehicle.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilor Waterman. So,
Excuse me, Councilor Conti, it's 2021, not 2001.
2021, yeah, 2001 wouldn't be much good, would it? Not to mention that they didn't have hybrids in 2001. So the chief sent out a thick packet of exactly what he was getting and what his plans are. And this is very consistent with what we've done in the past, with the exception that it's a hybrid, which is kind of a positive thing. So the command vehicle that's currently in service is going to be moved down the chain of command in the fire department. It'll continue to be used. And I didn't call the chief for further details because I didn't see any issues with this motion, but I'd like to hear if you have any concerns or comments. Councilor DeSimone.
Thank you, Councilor Conti. I'm curious, and Do you know if the life of a hybrid is equivalent to the life of a non-hybrid? Is there any reason to think that they're not as durable or as long lasting?
I'm really not qualified to answer that, but
Me neither.
my thinking is, Counselor, that in a service as serious as the fire department, that the engineering of a hybrid would be extremely tested, and that if they have successfully implemented them in other departments, it is a new technology, so they probably don't have much history and life to them. But my aunt has owned a hybrid for almost 20 years and hasn't replaced the main battery yet in the Prius, which is remarkable. Expected to have a 10-year life, and of course she only drives it 20 miles a week, if that. But I have some confidence in the vehicle.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Any other concerns, questions? Now I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I didn't hear you, Councilor Dolan.
Aye.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Motion passes unanimously. I entertain a motion to call for a public hearing on March, I think, help me out, Mr. President.
16th.
You're muted, but did you
16th.
have a date in mind where that might happen?
16th.
16.
16, okay. March 16th regarding the capital improvement program for fiscal year 2022 to 2026.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Waterman. So I don't think I can share with you because I don't think the Zoom allows me to share. But I've put together a spreadsheet of the urgent projects that are in the capital improvement plan, not including the big giant things that are going to require bonding, like the dispatch center.
If you want to share, you can. Sorry to interrupt you, but if you hover at the bottom, you'll see a blue, green screen share.
Share screen, yep.
You hit that.
Yep.
Your screen is going to be shared.
So let's see if I bring this onto my screen and I share.
Voila.
Okay, so here you see on the city side, these are just urgent projects. Budget administration has one, $10,000. Fire department has $578,000. More Parks and Forestry has a couple. It's a 200,000 almost. The Highland is in there for 300,000. Police department, shocking, 25,000. Public Works Department, 2,180,000. I think we all expected that. Recreation Department has about 7, and there's 164,000. In the school system, Hill Roberts has 190,000. Hyman Fine 240,000. Those are mirror schools, but for some reason the parking lot is bigger at Hyman Fine. And Thatcher has 4 for $1,000,003. The school department is still pushing for a redesign and reconfiguration of that parking lot. And Willett School has 60,000, and Wamsutta two items for 400,000. So you see that bottom line is 4,964,040. Now, given the sizable amount of free cash that came into the city this year, this is actually feasible. And these are just the urgent projects. So my question to the committee is, what is your thinking? Should we have these urgent projects be represented on Zoom in a future meeting before or after the public hearing? What are your thoughts? Laura, you're muted.
I wasn't speaking, but can you hear me?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay. You kind of broke up a little bit on my end. What did you say about having these presented?
Well, we're going to have a public hearing on March 16th. And in the capital improvement plan, which I think is extremely well done, and Councilor Delicio, I hope you saw the last 5 pages of that plan, because all the vehicles are really well detailed there. So what my thought was, Council Dolan, is that there's only the school system's represented by Mark Furtado, so that's one person, and the rest of the is just maybe four other department heads, because the budget administration, that's kind of a no-brainer. That's just finishing what we did a couple of years ago. So if we could have the fire department and the public works department and recreation department, maybe parks and forestry. I thought we bought that Mobach chipper, and I maybe just because it's been on the capital improvement plan so long. So what I was thinking was maybe we'd invite the fire department, parks and forestry, public works, and recreation to a Zoom meeting, our next Zoom meeting, and we could talk about these issues if you think that we need to, as well as Mark Furtado, or we could seek another avenue. I mean, we've all been to all these places already, and I would like to get through this expeditiously so that we can be working on a budget plan for these items. Your thoughts?
Well, I would support you entirely in inviting the directors of the various departments to come and talk with us. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
I agree.
Council, you agree? Okay, thank you. Council Delicio.
Thank you, Chairman Conti. So for whatever it's worth, I think it'd be great to get the department heads down in front of us to talk about these urgent projects so we can get a better understanding. As you and I have talked about several times over the years, I think it's really important to understand what the capital improvement projects really are. And in the years past, when you've had the department heads come down, it's been certainly educational and has helped us really get an understanding in the lay of the land. As far as the capital improvement plan is for this year, I think the department heads has always did a really nice job with it. I do appreciate the vehicles at the back, which, you know, we'll talk about during my committee a little bit as well. But I just think there's a lot of value in hearing directly from the department heads what they're asking for, why they're asking for it, and what's the impact if we're not able to. Because as you know, we use the analogy of the service merchandise catalog for the CIP when we were kids at Christmas and whipping through it. And, we can't always afford to do everything on here. As much as you and I have advocated over the years for a plan and a robust capital improvements line, we don't have that at this point. And what we do have is minimal. And when you look in and, you see public works at 2.1 million against $500,000, which has been set aside in the past for capital improvements. So I think there's value in it.
Thank you. I agree with everything you said, and I will be doing that. So in 2 weeks, I'll try to line everybody up, and if not, then in 4 weeks, we'll have the ones that I couldn't line up in 2 weeks. But I would like to get that done before the public hearing, so the public has an opportunity to comment on something or anything that a department head said or failed to say in our committee meetings if they're paying attention. And so that will be the plan. Yes, Councilor Waterman.
Yes. Well, one thing that I think it's important, let's just take, for example, the recreation department. I think it would be helpful if we knew if there was like one particular item out of the 6 or so that are there that is head and tails more urgent than even the rest of them. And that concludes my comment.
You're right, and we can only know that by having the department head sitting in front of us. Yeah. So I will make that happen. Okay. And let's see if I can figure out how to stop sharing.
At the top, Richard.
Top right, new share.
There you go.
There we go. From the docket of.
Richard, I have a comment on that.
Please.
If I may. So the only, I'm in agreement with your plan as you've laid out. I think it's a good one to get us to the end result. My question is, I don't see the Studley facade work on here, and I want to know what's going on with that.
I might have missed it, Councilor, but I did read about it, and I saw that it was on the plan. And
we funded it once. You'll remember we funded this once, and we couldn't get a contractor to do it. It wasn't a big job, but I want the job done. It's been years we've been talking about the Studley facade.
I will make sure that it gets on the list. I'm making a note now.
And would you make sure that Mark's prepared to talk about it when he comes?
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, I can call him if you want me to, but if you're going to call him anyway.
No, I want everybody to hear it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're all in this together. So from the docket of February 16, 2001, there is new business to request a needs assessment of IT for the city and impact from the pandemic on the requirements and equipment needed. And I'd like to discuss with you, counselors. I've met with Bill Lennox briefly. We've agreed that we need to set aside some time for a longer conversation. And he's not in opposition of discussing what the needs are, but he was surprised that this came along, and I want to work with him and you to get us some progress. So I think that initially private conversations with Bill are in order before we bring him into the committee as a public exchange, so that we can lay down some policy procedures or guidelines or goals beforehand. And that's going to take a little while because he's a very busy guy, and I'm having a hard time coordinating with him time that he's available and I'm available, that we can build some structure into this, is what I'm trying to say. So I see some hands. I think I saw Delicio first. So Councilor Delicio and then Councilor Colvis.
Thank you, Councilor Conti. So want to be crystal clear, and the reason why this was important to me to get in front of the council and the CIP was so one, it coincided with CIP as well as heading into budget. This is not a referendum on a job that Bill's doing. As a matter of fact, in my estimation, it's just the opposite. I think that Bill's, for a long time, has been essentially a one-person show. I think IT has changed. I think Bill has been, he's done some Herculean lifting with some pieces that we've been able to get more life out of, pieces that realistically could be obsolete, could be put as obsolete. And when we saw how technology is changing, especially with the onset of the coronavirus pandemic, we saw it, could have been disastrous. If that server went down at the police station and we weren't able to repair it, could have been disastrous. And really right now we have an opportunity to take a look at a lot of things across the city and investigate, recommend, and plan. And it's really kind of about planning, because none of us saw the coronavirus coming on. We're embarking on a year. It's been basically 11 months to the day almost that we've been in the governor's state of emergency. So we have opportunities to plan, to take a look at things and say, hey, we've learned a lot over the last 11 months. Where do we need to go forward? And that's really where my emphasis on this piece of business was. So first of all, Council, thank you so much for addressing it and not letting it gain dust sitting in the shelf in the Capital Improvements Committee. So thank you for that. And I think, at the end of the day, if the worst case scenario that comes out of this is we're like, hey, you know what, Bill really needs some more support, then I think that's a win for the city.
So Council, I'm adding into my notes that you want to marry the program with the capital improvement plan, and I am going to invite Bill Lennox to speak either next 2 weeks or 4 weeks. He's going to appear in front of the committee, of which everyone will get an opportunity to join in. And I don't know that I'll have an opportunity to put some structure to this before that, but if not, then we'll do it in that process. But if it's going to be married to the CIP, then we've got to get it done before the end of March.
Yeah, and it's a tough timeline, if I may, sorry. But at least we're having the conversation, Rick. And I think that's a really good place to start, because maybe it's not for this year's, but if we can work on something throughout the course of the rest of this fiscal year, and as we embark on a new one in July, I think that's going to put us in a good position come capital improvements this time next year.
I agree with you. Councilor Colvis?
Thank you, Councilor Conti. One of the things I wanted to mention, and as I'm sure all of us have seen by now, was we had that cyber attack down in Florida on the water treatment facilities. And just looking at that and thinking about sort of where we are with regards to technology. I know Tom Hayes, when we brought it up, mentioned that the wastewater treatment plant is completely shut off from the internet, but I'm not sure that where we are with water or what other sort of vulnerabilities we might have throughout the city. So I would encourage you, as part of inviting Bill to come before us, to also sort of talk about potentially talk about that, unless there are security concerns about having that conversation in a public forum. But I'm definitely concerned, having seen what was going on, what happened in Florida, and would love to hear more about what we're doing to make sure that that doesn't happen here in Attleboro.
Yes, you do recall that he was awarded a sizable grant from the counselor. Polito has a commission that gives capital grants out, and he's going to be building a distinct and separate server capability outside of the city structure for backup and protection. But we'll cover that when he's here.
That's a completely separate thing. Yep. But yeah, let's, if you could just sort of raise that with them so we can discuss.
Sure. Anyone else on IT? Okay, we'll move on. From the docket of January 19, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the following loan. Ordered that $943,000 is appropriated for the replacement of the SCADA service, historian backup, RACO server and client, and all necessary SCADA software, as well as upgrading all existing programmable logic controls to the latest version and any necessary cabling to the wastewater SCADA system located at 27 Pond Street North in Attleboro, Massachusetts, collectively the project, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, of which amount of up to $8,000 may be used for costs associated with the issuance of bonds or notes for this purpose, and to the extent not so used may be applied to project costs. That to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $943,000 under Chapter 29C of the general laws and or Section 7 or 8 of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority. That the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium applied to the payment of such costs of issuance of such bonds or notes may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Waterman. In the public hearing of February 2nd, we heard Tom detail why this is necessary. Does anyone have any questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of January 19th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the following loan. Ordered that $255,000 is appropriated for the baseline flow monitoring for infiltration and inflow to the City of Attleboro sewer system, collectively the project, including in the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, of which amounts up to $5,000 may be used for costs associated with the issuance of bonds or notes for this purpose, and to the extent not so used may be used for project costs. That to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $255,000 under Chapter 29C of the general laws and or Section 7, Paragraph 7 of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority. That the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, unless any such premium applied to the payment of the cost of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Have we received anything from the planning board on whether or not this is consistent with the comprehensive plan of the city?
I read the planning board notes and they did take a vote, but I have not received the formal notice.
Right. So I'm okay going through committee. We
Yep.
just make sure that that gets into the record,
Right.
right into the record next week.
Yep.
But we did, you're right, there was some emails going back and forth and it was stamped in.
Yep.
But I'm looking to see if I can find it in my stuff right now.
I read their minutes on my cell phone, and that's the only reason why I know they took it up. So that's what we'll do. We'll try to get it through committee tonight. We'll hold it up until we have what we need before we take it to the full council.
Thank you.
I will second it.
Yep. I have a second by Councilor Waterman. Thank you, Councilor. Any discussion, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of January 19th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the following loan. Ordered that $372,000 is appropriated for the design, permitting, bidding, construction oversight, and construction costs associated with valve replacement to the city's South Avenue pumping station located at 27 Pond Street North in Attleboro, Massachusetts, collectively known as the project, including all the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, of which amount up to $5,000 may be used for costs associated with the issuance of bonds or notes for this purpose, and to the extent not so used, may be used for project costs. To meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the support of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $372,000 under Chapter 29C of the general laws and/or Section 7, Paragraph 1 of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premiums applied to the payment of the cost of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor. So we heard on February 2nd that these valves are expensive, big and expensive. So do we have any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of January 5th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the following loan. Ordered that $505,000 is appropriated for permitting, bidding, subcontracting, subconsultant, engineering, and testing associated with the Wading River pilot study located at 250 Balcom Street, Mansfield, Massachusetts, collectively known as the project, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, of which amount up to $5,000 may be used for costs associated with the issuance of bonds and notes for this purpose, and to the extent not so used may be applied to project costs. That to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $505,000 under Chapter 29C of the general laws and/or Section 7, Paragraph 7 of Chapter 44 of the general laws, or any other enabling authority that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium applied by the payment of the costs of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, thereby reduce the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Second.
Councilor Dolan, you got one in. Motion's in order. So this is for Wading River. Boy, have we been talking about this for a long time. Do we have any questions or comments about the bond? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. That concludes the business that I have to bring before you this evening. Thank you for your participation and consideration. I entertain a motion to adjourn. Calls
Second.
for a second. Thank you, Council Dolan. I declare the capital improvements and city development closed, adjourned at 8:14. Thank you.
Call the Public Works Committee to order at 8:14. I have 3 items of business this evening to discuss with you all. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the application, From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to transfer $24,925.95 from account 6000-578300 wastewater enterprise fund reserve fund for transfer to account 6000-521020 wastewater enterprise fund lights and power to replenish funds used for an emergency repair.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor DeSimone. So apparently back in July, the wastewater treatment plant had a filter press with feed pump collapse. And it was such a mechanical failure that they had to reach out to the state and ask that they don't have to go out to bid, and it was approved because they needed to get this filter press back in working order immediately. So Superintendent Thomas Hayes took from his lights and power account and transferred $30,000. Well, when the receipts came in, when all said was done, because all was said and done, that once everything was repaired, the total repair was $24,775, which they had a remainder balance of $5,074.08, which was transferred back into lights and power. So this is just to replenish that account for his lights and power for the rest of the remainder of the year. Do I have any questions? Any comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to transfer $3,500 from account 6000-578300 wastewater enterprise fund reserved fund for transfer to account 6000-524240 wastewater enterprise fund maintenance of equipment to replace the coolant in the emergency generator.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. Again, they had an emergency repair that they had to do. The emergency generator, the coolant had gone down, and this is what keeps the power going if we are to lose power. So this needs to be replaced. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. I'll think that one into. Thirdly, from the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to appropriate $73,320 from account 6100-359000 Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account 6100-584078 Water Enterprise Fund high lift pump to purchase a replacement high lift pump at the West Street plant.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. This pump had also, from the water treatment plant, had collapsed and desperately needs to be replaced. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I have no further business this evening for the Public Works Committee. I'd like to call for an adjournment at
Second.
8:19. Thank you, Councilor Dolan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 8:19.
I would like to call budget and appropriations to order at 8:19. Councilor Cobus, I'm going to ask if you wouldn't mind just as the vice taking the minutes while I chat, if you don't mind.
Sure. Will you take minutes for me for zoning?
Yeah, what's fair is fair, right?
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. So I have one piece of business tonight. So from the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the transfer of $134.48 from account 6100-578-300 Water Enterprise Fund Reserve Fund for transfer to account 6100-569-010 Water Enterprise Fund taxes to other communities to pay Rentham real estate taxes.
Second.
Thank you. Give me one second. I lost my place. Here we go. So after payment of taxes to communities where the water department owns property, with the exception of the final bill from Rentham, which has not yet been paid. Again, this is just when the bills come in. So this is really just to pay the $134.48 to the town of Rentham for the taxes. Pretty straightforward stuff.
So, Councilor, was that a personal property tax bill?
It's for the water. So let me just get I'll read the communication from the mayor just so everyone's on the same page. Actually from Courtney, I apologize. After payment of taxes to communities where the water department owns property, with the exception of the final bill from Rentham, which has not been paid. Account, I just read, taxes to other communities has a remaining balance of $4,807.57. The last tax bill for the year from Rentham is in the amount of $4,942.05. Therefore, I respectfully request that $134.48 be transferred, and this is just to bring that account whole in order to pay the taxes.
Got it. I'm good with it. Thank you.
Nope, thank you. All right, if there's no other questions, thoughts, or concerns, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes. Real quick, just a reminder, we do have a meeting tomorrow night at 6 where we're going to continue the discussions on the fleet programs. I am waiting. I sent, admittedly, it was a little later than I wanted to. I did send Allison a request for all of the city vehicles that are on the insurance plan, so we have an understanding of what's what and where they are. But as Councilor Conti alluded to, if you look at the last several pages in this year's capital improvements plan, we have a lot of the city vehicles listed there. I also had the opportunity over the course of the last week to speak with Gary Eurasian, who thinks that the discussion we're having in relation to the fleet program is really the right one from a planning standpoint. So I'll be probably bringing Gary in at some point to kind of discuss his thoughts a little bit, as he's the one in charge of CIP. But friends, that is all I have tonight. Therefore, I would call for an adjournment at 8:22.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And we are adjourned at 8:22.
Thank you. Call the Zoning and Land Use Committee to order at 8:22. On the committee is myself, Councilor Holmes, Councilor Delicio. Councilor Delicio, would you, if you don't mind, also take a minute? It's that way I can focus on actually running the meeting. So
absolutely.
We have two. Thank you. We have two items today. The first one from the docket of February 16th, 2021. I entertain a motion to call a public hearing on March 2nd, 2021 to address the adoption of district improvement financing within the city's transit-oriented district.
Second.
Motion's in order. So this is just to call for a public hearing on March 2nd to hear from the Economic Development Director, Catherine Fierick, regarding this district improvement financing. And to read a little bit about that, for those not familiar, the district improvement financing is an economic development tool that sets aside a portion of tax revenues from new growth within the district to fund necessary infrastructure related plans and professional services. So in some ways it's similar to, well, we'll let Ms. Fierick describe it during the public hearing. Are there any other comments? Hearing none.
Oh, President Cooper.
President Cooper? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Second item we have today from the docket of February 2nd, 2021. I entertain a motion to accept a land donation from New England Power Company, DBA National Grid, of 9.5 acres in the Chartley Brook watershed area at 0 Pike Avenue, plat number 205, lot number 3. The subject property, with an assessed value of $106,900, will be donated to the Conservation Commission to achieve permanent protection of rare wildlife in the city.
Second.
Motion's in order. And can I share my screen? So for those not aware of where this is, stop share. Let's try that one. Stop share. This, Councilor Conti, I am not as technically savvy as you might be. Apparently that's not working for me. Anyway, for those not aware of where this is, it's...
Sorry.
Yeah, we could see it.
Oh, you could?
Yeah, it's like a map and it showed yellow, like the...
Oh, okay. Okay, so it just doesn't show it for me. So thank you. So here it is. It's off of Pike Ave, south of Pleasant Street, near the border of Norton. If you look, it's right near Chartley Pond. There's conservation property to the southeast of that. This is conservation property down here. There is a right of way through it, but it's would be donated to the city, and the Conservation Commission had a vote on it, voted in favor of accepting it. So I don't see any issue with moving forward. Any other comments?
Councilor Cobus,
Councilor DeSimone? Yes.
Yes, thank you. I'm just curious, is that the piece next to the Spatcher property there, where the power lines run through?
Yes.
Okay.
The Spatcher property is I don't know if I can select
I think
it.
they own on both sides actually of Pike there, but
Oh, okay. I'm aware that this property to the southwest is the Spatcher property. I'm
Okay.
not sure to the northeast.
Okay.
So
all right, I think I know.
I know.
what you mean.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Any other questions? And speak up because I can't really see while I'm sharing. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And that it concludes the business for the Zoning and Land Use Committee.
Before you conclude,
Sure. President Cooper?
I'm so happy you guys are taking notes for each other. Virginia's going to be delighted that she's going to get minutes.
Excellent.
That's great. It's a great way to be creative on how to get the minutes submitted. She appreciates that.
Perfect. We also submitted new business to suggest this for the rules committee. So
yes, agreed. That's great. Thank you.
All right. Anything else from the committee? All right. Move to adjourn at 8:28.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we are adjourned at 8:28. Thank you.
I'd like to call the Licenses Committee to order at 8:28. I have 3 motions this evening. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on March 16th, 2021, regarding an application to waive section 11-15.1 to serve alcoholic beverages or wine on city property for a private party from Adam Semple.
Second.
Thank you. So this is for actually a wedding at Capron Park.
Oh.
So who are we to stand in the way of love in an open bar? So that's what it's for. I don't know if you got the backup documents, but they have a really nice letter of everything that they want to do. Anybody else have any questions?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the Class 2 application for R&D Auto Sales at 116 Dickens Street with 5 customer spaces and 8 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. So this is late because he had trouble getting his renewal paperwork for his lease agreement. So he was late on this. Does anybody else have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the application for automatic amusement device license for Papagino's at 103 Pleasant Street.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And, oh wait, hold on one second. I'm sorry, I have another one. I don't know why. Oh no, I don't. I already called for a public hearing. Okay. And that's all the business I have for licenses committee. I'd like to call for an adjournment at 8:30.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
I'd like to call the City Property and Claims Committee to order at 8:31. And I have 3 motions this evening. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of a portable electronic purifier with the approximate value of $199 from CC Technologies, Inc. to the Police Department.
Second.
Thank you. I have no concerns or questions of this. Does anyone else? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to transfer $3,738.18 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1420100-530101 Public Works Professional Services to install new steel guardrails at the intersection of Pond Street and West Carpenter Street.
Second.
Thank you. I'll just quickly go over this for myself to let you know this is down in South Attleboro. It's been a pain in the neck for a gentleman that lives right across there, cars coming through and not stopping and hitting his home. So we've been discussing this, and with the mayor's input on this and everything, it's finally been approved. It took a while, but it's finally been approved. So those are my comments regarding it. Anyone have any concerns or questions? Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that motion passes. From the docket of February 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to declare the following police department office equipment as surplus and available for disposition. 6 tan metal table workstations, they're in very poor condition, and 1 brown wooden desk with 6 drawers and also in very poor condition.
Second.
Thank you. Any concerns, questions? I have none either, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and that motion passes. That is all the business City Property and Claims Committee has this evening, and I would like to call for an adjournment at 8:33.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 8:33.
So I have a question. President Cooper.
Yes.
So I'm looking at my committee minutes, and I have something in it that I believe is in Jay's committee, but I just want to confirm because I just went back and looked in last week's communication from the mayor, and I'm looking at number 10. And it was from the superintendent of public work regarding the need to pay a fiscal year 20 invoice to Aggregate Industries in the amount of $10,020.80. But I have it noted in my minute that went to budget.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, thank you. And it just got put into my committee for this evening.
So we'll, Councilor Delosio, will you call for a committee meeting next with
I
Virginia?
have a meeting tomorrow night. I can address it
Oh,
then.
perfect, perfect. Awesome, thank you.
Perfect.
Sure.
Thank you.
And then just one other housekeeping thing before we go. I will be away from Saturday, the whatever the date is. Let me just check.
13.
The 13th through the 22nd. I'll be back the 22nd. So Vice President Jackson will be the acting president in my absence during that time. And that's it for me.
Simple relaxation up in Maine.
Yep. All right.
Enjoy.
Thanks. I think we're good.
Good night.
Good night,
everyone.
everyone. Good night. Thank you.
Night.
Bye-bye.